Why do employees resist change? Well, there are two typical reasons, all right? And the second one is change is unknown. The first one is it's an ego trip. In this video, I'll be addressing the first issue, which is ego. And then in the next video, I'll be talking about the fear of the unknown, all right? So change, okay, and people's ego. In the 1800s, the nation of Japan, they realized, well, we've been learning from China for some 1500 years, and it's been great up till now. China hasn't been great for 300 years. China hasn't been number one for 300 years. It's time to get a new teacher. And the Japanese, they realized three things make a modern society great. Number one, science and technology. Number two, rule of law and democracy. Okay. Number three, personal initiatives, entrepreneurial spirit, right? Free market capitalism. So they realized these three things make a modern society great, and then they needed to get a new teacher. So they have no problem learning science and technology, and democracy and rule of law, and also free market, entrepreneurial spirit, and capitalism. So within a generation or two, Japan changed from a backward, almost a Stone Age society into a modern industrial power. And then within not too many years, they were able to beat the crap out of both China and Russia militarily. We're talking about in the 1800s or the early 1900s, way before World War I. Okay, so the smartest people in China, they saw Japan change, right? So they started thinking, maybe our way is no longer that helpful. Maybe we should change. We should also learn science and technology. We should also learn democracy and the rule of law. We should also learn entrepreneurial spirit, free market, and capitalism. So they started thinking and then talking and suggesting these kind of ideas. What happened to them? Well, the smartest of you, they all got their heads chopped off if they didn't run away from the country. One guy, he ran away. He found his hiding place in Mexicali, and that was the Chinatown in Mexico 100 years ago. And he wrote travel essays about the exotic place. So China did not embrace scientific thinking until 1910, 1920. All right, China did not embrace entrepreneurial spirit, free market capitalism until the 1980s. And why do you think China has moved on so much? It's developed so much. Why do you think China has got away from like 90% of the people being in poverty? By practicing capitalism, by practicing, by lighting out everyone's entrepreneurial spirit, right? By giving people incentives. If you work more, you can enjoy a better life. That's how China has been able to develop itself over the past 30 years and feed its own hungry people, right? So I'm sure some of you have been to Japan, and if you have not been to Japan, I'm sure you have all seen Japan on TV or maybe even on YouTube, right? Japan is a very modern society, isn't it? But Japan is also, at the same time, a very traditional society, isn't it? All the traditional things are still there, and nothing has been eliminated, right? And I am pretty sure that if you talk to a modern Japanese person and say, hey, with all this modernity going on in your country, are you not Japanese, right? I have never ever seen a Toyota engineer, right, who stood there and say things like, you know what, I'm Japanese, but if I help you to produce a nice, reliable car, the most reliable minivan, with all-wheel drive and carry all your kids around with seatbelt and everything, if I do that, I won't be Japanese anymore. To the Japanese people, that thinking is ridiculous, right? They don't see how learning something new and change, so they won't be themselves anymore, right? I had an employee, a ridiculous employee. I remember he would come in late, right? So I asked him, I said, why are you late, right? So he said, well, you know, I had to pump gas in the morning. So I asked him, I said, why don't you pump gas at night on the way home? He says, well, you do that. I don't do that. You do that. I don't do that. So I dropped a hint. I said, what, if you start doing that, you wouldn't be late anymore. And then he got sick. All right. So this is in Omaha, Nebraska. He lived in Lincoln, Nebraska, 50 miles and an hour drive and never any traffic. And he got sick. So missed a few days of work. I missed some money. So I asked him, I said, so how do you get sick? He said, oh, I was pumping gas and standing outside the car waiting for the pump to run. It's Nebraska, it's January, it's cold, it's minus a million degrees out there, right? So I said to him, I said, why don't you, after you set the pump up, why don't you go back in the car, sit in the car? It's so much warmer to sit in the car and wait. He said, you do that. I don't do that. I said, yeah, you haven't been doing that. But if you start doing that, you won't be sick anymore. It's an ego trip, right? If I do that, I won't be me anymore. We all know that industrialization, right, it started in the UK, right? But before industrialization, scientific thinking, the Renaissance, that happened in Italy, right? That first happened in Italy, Florence and all that, and then that moved to the UK, right? Before that, UK was a backwater. It was a Stone Age, right? And they had nothing, and they started learning all of this scientific thinking and all that. And have you ever seen an English person like Isaac Newton? They'll sit there and go, you know what? I won't learn all of this scientific inquiry, all of this studying nature. No. If I study this, I'm gonna become Italian. I won't be English anymore. No, that's not how they thought, right? Yeah. And the Russians, not necessarily. You guys know about Peter the Great, right? His whole notion is, I'm gonna use my one man's willpower, my dictatorial power as the Tsar of Russia, to drag this country out of Stone Age into modernity. That was, 1700 or whatever, 1600, 1800, okay? But the Russian oligarchs, okay, they did not want to change. They wanted to hold on to their system of slavery, of backward thinking and all that. So the Tsar would encourage them to travel to Europe and watch and learn, right? So some of these oligarchs, the slave owners, they would travel to say Holland, right? They would rent a house from Airbnb, and then they would ransack the house. They make the worst tenants. They make the worst renters, right? They'll see this wonderful gadget, what we call a faucet. Wow, water will come out of it. Yeah, cool, all right? So these Russian oligarchs, they would hack the faucet out of the wall from their rental house. And then they would take it back to Russia. And then they would stick it in the wall, right, and turn it on, and no water would come out of it. And they don't understand there's plumbing behind the faucet. They don't understand there is hydrodynamics. There's a city's water supply system behind the whole thing. They refuse to change. And they want to hold on to their old ways of slavery and their backward thinking, and but they wanted the good life. Ain't gonna happen, all right? So if you see one of your employees, right, digging in their heels and then started being egotistic, I won't change. If I change, I won't be me anymore. Just slowly, all right, dropping hints and help them. You are still you. You're just becoming a better, more capable, smarter version of you. Kind of like, Japan today versus Japan 200 years ago. They're still Japanese. It's just the modern version is smarter, wiser, more capable, and more able to do things to help themselves. All right. So if you see one of the employees, their ego start getting flare up. All right. Now, by the way, when someone their ego is in the way, don't tell them, hey, it's your ego. That is not going to help. By doing that, the only thing you're doing is you're adding gasoline to the fire, all right? So help them, drop hints, help them to think, if I change, I'm still me. I'm just becoming a better version of me, a more capable version of me, a wiser version of me. I'm just developing myself. Because me at the age of 10 versus me at the age of 40, 80, 90, it's not the same, right? The 80-year-old version of me is going to be wiser and smarter than the 10-year-old version of me, right? Yeah. So that's how you coach and help your employees when their ego is in the way of embracing and adopting to change and changing themselves, all right? So if you need coaching, just send me an email, right? Don't feel embarrassed that there are things you don't know. We are all learning and developing ourselves. It's now the 21st century, and we have all these employees, and they are all craving and hungry for knowledge, wisdom, learning, guidance. Okay, so as a leader, it is our job to develop ourselves in terms of our skill to coach and give guidance to our employees and to help everyone to grow. All right. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the like button. And also, make sure you share these videos, this video or any of my other coaching videos with your family, your friends, as a matter of fact, as many people as possible. Because do you think your life will get easier if you are the only person improving? No. Your life will only get more and more difficult if you are the only person improving. Think about it. If your family, your friends, your coworkers, your colleagues, they don't understand your latest learning, your latest thinking, what you just learned, the new wisdom you just acquired, they won't be able to help you. They will actually go against you because they are still stuck with the old thinking. Okay, something they learned 30 years ago. So instead of helping you, they'll become a burden. They will drag you down. They will fight against you. You don't want that to happen to you. You want them to support you. You want them to get on the journey with you in terms of getting things done, in terms of personal development. This is why you want to share this video and also all my other coaching videos with as many people as possible. Your family, your friends, your good coworkers, your good colleagues, people you're in business with, people you are fighting the trenches together with, people you are growing together with, all right? Share these videos with everybody. And also make sure everybody hits the notification button. This way, every time I release a brand new coaching video, you guys will be the first one getting notified and you can start learning. Get ahead of the competition. All right. Until next time, keep on learning. Coach Michael Lin, signing out.